Hello, friends. Welcome to another Stamp With Me Tuesday. Tonight, we are making a folded book card with pockets because everything is better with pockets, right? This card really just uses one 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper. Now, I know some of you were really freaking out about how many other pieces of cardstock there were. Those are just to decorate it. The basics of this card is just a piece of 12 by 12 pattern paper. So super easy. I think you're going to love it. If you are here and watch me live, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know if you love fun folds. If you're watching the replay, special welcome to you as well. I love my replay warriors who come back and watch the replays later. If you are here and watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay and let me know what you think of fun folds. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping, and I am going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by creating handmade cards and gifts using stamps, ink, and paper that is just going to amaze your friends and family and make them feel so special that you made these handmade items for them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, Shannon and Carol and Ellen and Fonda. So glad you guys are here tonight. I'm going to make my workspace look just a little bit bigger. And we're going to start tonight by looking at the card that we are making. So normally I don't show you the card ahead of time. We just show it, we show it at the end. But tonight I am going to show it ahead of time just so you can see what it looks like. And I got my piece of pattern paper under here too. This is what I'm using. So here is the card. Now for this sample card, I used the Delightfully Eclectic pattern paper. This is on the clearance rack. I love this pack of paper. It's a huge 12 by 12 pack with 48 sheets in it. So it's an amazing deal. And with this, I used, what stamp sets did I use on this? Oh, I used the Bright Skies. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Bright Skies stamp set, along with the Kindest Expressions stamp set. So there is the front. And what's going to happen, we open this up. We have another piece. We have a little pull-out pocket. And this one, I just put a photo in there, which works really well. And then you flip it again. It flips open like that. And then there's another pocket back here where you can put another sentiment. So lots of different flips and flaps. This is sized so it fits in a regular sized envelope too. All right, so let's go ahead and see how to make it. I am using the Country Woods Designer Series paper, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer to do the scoring. You could also use a scoreboard. The first thing I am going to do is I am going to start by making a score line at 6 inches. All right, so we're just going to make a 6-inch score line, just like that. And then we are going to fold it. Now, when you fold this, you want the side of the paper that you want to see the most of on the outside. All right, so we're going to put the side that you want to see the most of on the outside. I'm choosing the lighter color. All right, so I just scored at 6 inches and I folded that in half at 6 inches. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm going to cut it off at 5.5 inches. Now, make sure you don't cut the fold edge. You want to cut the open edge. Okay, so your fold is over here at 5.5, and you're just going to trim off the ends. All right, now you could have started with a 10-inch paper and scored it at, or an 11-inch paper and scored it at 5.5, but I decided it was just easier to fold it and then cut it. So we just took that, we scored it at 6 inch, we fold it in half, and then I just cut this off. So this is 5.5 inches. Okay, and this way it's going to fit in a standard envelope. So now go ahead and open this back up, and we're going to make 2 more score lines. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to score it at 4 inches. Okay, so I'm scoring this at 4 inches. And then I'm going to turn it around and score it at 4 inches again. You could score it at 4 and 8, but I'm just going to go ahead and flip it around and score it at 4 again. Okay, so we have 2 folds on there. And we can go ahead and fold this. We need to do one more cut, but let's go ahead and we'll just fold this. Your fold is going to be at the bottom. All right. And actually, we'll fold this in. And then you can fold this front part in. And we'll make it all look better in just a second. All right. So there we go. We have our piece of paper. We scored it at 6. We cut it off. We folded it in half, cut it at 5.5. And then we scored it at 4 and 8. Now what I want to do is I'm going to come out across this line at this 5.5 inches. And I'm going to cut up through 2 sections, right? So I'm going to cut up through 2 sections. So I'm going to put this in my paper trimmer at 5.5. So it's right on that score line. We're going to cut right on the score line. All right. So make sure it's in the right spot. And we're going to cut up to the second score line. So we're cutting through 2 sections. Okay. And for some reason, it does not like cutting it after it's scored. I didn't have this problem, and then I did have this problem today. So because I don't want to waste this piece of paper, I'm just going to come in here and trim this up, trim off any of these little fuzzy bits. I think my blade is just getting dull. So we'll just trim that up a little bit. All right. So now that I've done that, we're going to put this cut part on the right side, okay? I'm going to fold it up. Remember, we're going to fold it up. I'm going to trim off some more of my little fuzzies. Just make my line look good here. All right, so we have that folded up. Now this piece right here, we're going to go ahead and fold that back, okay, because we cut across that edge, and then this one gets folded forward. Now we're going to make one more cut. On this edge right here, I'm going to cut off 1 inch, okay? Shannon, yep, that's why the replay is here, so you can always go back and watch it again. All right, so remember we scored it at 6 inches. We folded it. We cut off the top at 5.5. Then we opened it back up again and we scored it at 4 and 8. We cut along that center fold and we cut 2 sections. Okay, so I'm going to fold this up, and now I'm folding this section back and folding it forward. And now I'm going to cut off 1 inch right here. So when I open this up, it looks like this. We got this cut here, and I am going to cut the upper right one. I'm just going to cut it 1 inch. So I'm just going to put it in my paper trimmer. I'm going to line up the 1 inch over on the right side. And then I'm just going to trim that one little off. And we're going to save this and use it on a different section. Okay. So let's go back to what we had. We have our paper. We're going to fold this up. This one gets folded back. And now this side is going to fold shut, and we're going to glue this side shut. Okay, this is going to create our back pocket. Okay, so this part is creating this pocket right back here. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab a punch. Now you wouldn't have to do this, but I find it easier to get the cards out afterwards. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch just a little tab in the top of there, just like that. And then I'm going to put adhesive on these 2 sides, and we're going to just glue this shut because this is going to be a pocket. All right. So there we go. So we glued that one shut. And then this center folds over, and then we have another pocket that we're going to create over here on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut a little tab here as well. So just trying to get it in the center, lined up, and just punch out a tab. And now this, so this, see how that folds open? I just want to put a little bit of adhesive right up here so we can glue it shut. Okay, so we're just going to put adhesive right here. And then this folds up and that top glues shut. And this makes our second pocket. All right, and that is the fold of our card. That's the whole thing. Like, that's it. That's the base of the card. Now, if you want to go in and trim things up, you can, but you don't have to. So there you go. You open this up. We have a pocket here, and then a fold and a flap, and we have a pocket back here too. So super, super easy. It seems complicated, but once you do it once or twice, you're going to find it is not so complicated. It is pretty easy. Actually, you know what? Let's go through that whole thing again, shall we? I'm going to grab another piece. Let's see. I'm going to grab a piece of the country lace paper. All right, in blue and pink. And let's do this whole thing again. So once again, I'm going to start by scoring this at 6 inches. All right, so just score it at 6 inches. And then we're going to cut it off last just to make this go a little bit faster. So I scored that at 6 inches. I'm going to turn it and score it at 4 inches. And then I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to score it again at 4 inches. So basically I'm scoring at 4 and 8, but I flipped it. Okay. So now we have a score line down the middle. And I know this is really hard to see. We have a score line down the middle, and then we have a score line doing this in thirds. Now I'm going to cut along this score line right here through 2 sections. So that center score line, this is still 6 because I haven't cut it yet. So I'm going to put this in at 6. If you cut it first, then you're going to do it at 5.5. And I'm going to cut to the second score line. Okay. So down to 4 inches. There we go. All right. And then we'll go ahead, we'll fold this shut. Fold this closed. And then I'm going to trim off the top because I want to fit this in a regular envelope. So I'm going to put the fold line over here on the left, and I'm going to trim this at 5.5 inches. Okay. And then remember, we want to trim this one in the upper right corner at 1 inch. So I'm just trimming this over here, popping it over there at 1 inch. And I'm just going to cut from the center to the top. Okay. So our designer series paper looks like that. And then we're just going to flip this, fold this up. I'm going to fold this piece back all the way back here and then forward, just like that. And then this is going to make a pocket over here. So I'll go ahead and fold that to create my pocket. And I still got some fluff, so we'll just trim off the fluff. I'm going to go ahead and punch the top here. And then I'm going to glue this shut. So I'm going to put glue on these 2 sides. Okay. So that'll just shut right there. And then this one flips over. And then we're going to glue this one over here shut as well. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to punch the side to create a little tab. And then I'm just going to glue the top shut. So I'm just going to put adhesive up here at the top. And then we'll shut it. All right. So then we fold over the front of the card. And I don't like this little bit of blue that popped out when I folded, so I'm just going to trim this up. And there you go. That's all there is. That is the base of the card. Then it's just a bunch of decorating. All right. So after this, it's just decorating. There's the base of our card. And now we can fill in all the bits and pieces. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the one that I had. Now this is where all those pieces came in the list. So what did I do with my pieces? I have a whole bunch of pieces and I don't even always remember what size they are or where they go, but I'm going to start with this piece right here. This piece is the one that is 2 1/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches, and it's going to go on the front. So 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. It's going to go on the piece of cardstock that matches it. So that is 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. And then I actually cut another piece of cardstock that's 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, so that those can go right on the front, just like that. And I pulled out a bunch of stamps to use. I'm going to trim off my little pieces that are showing here. Just trimming off the edge just a little bit because it was showing from underneath, and I don't like that. There we go. All right, so one of the sets I'm using is Planted Paradise, and I'm going to use that to go ahead and create some plants on the front of here. So I think I'm going to use this pot right here, and I'm going to stamp it with Petal Pink. So we'll stamp our pot in Petal Pink. Just give that a minute. There we go. And then I'm going to stamp some leaves in here. I want to get some tall leaves in here. This one's pretty tall. So let's go ahead. And this is a reversible set. So I think I'm going to start by stamping the base. And I'm going to stamp the base, which is the back of the stamp. I'm going to stamp that in Lemon Lime Twist. I'm going to stamp it twice. Kind of fill in there. And do one more right here. There we go. And then we'll wash that off. Hello, Sue and Kim and Janet. I'm so glad you guys could be here. All right, so I'm just washing that off. I'm going to flip it back over because this is a reversible stamp set. And I'm going to grab my Granny Apple Green to do the other side. So we'll add in the detail with some Granny Apple Green. So there we go. There's our little plant. And then I also pulled out the Saying Hey stamp set, and I'm going to stamp a big hay on a scrap of white. I can put this scrap of white here. And I think I'm going to do the hay in green. So here's the hay. I'm just going to stamp that in a little Granny Apple Green. I am going to fussy cut my hay really quick. So again, this is for the front. This was the piece that was 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And really, you could make these whatever size you want to make. This is just what I did. So there we go. I'm going to adhere this to those pieces of Petal Pink and Granny Apple Green cardstock. So it's going on Petal Pink first, And then the Granny Apple Green. You're going to watch the replay? All right. Sounds good, Janet. That's what's nice about these YouTube videos is you can always watch the replay if you need to see it again. All right. So there's my plant. I'm going to adhere this to the front of my card. Just like this. So much fun. And then I'm going to add that hay. I'm going to add that hay right down here. I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. I don't entirely know what I am doing here. I just pulled out some stamps and I'm kind of playing with them. So we'll see what comes out. All right. So there's my hay. Now I'm going to open this up. Now, the pieces that we want, the biggest piece of cardstock that you have, which is this one right here, and it is 3.5 by 4 3/4. Okay, that biggest piece of white cardstock. This is going to slide in this pocket right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're gonna stamp something on here. I think I want it to say hey. We're gonna put that sentiment there. All right, we're not gonna put a sentiment on this piece. We're just gonna stamp something fun. So I'm gonna stamp a big pot. I'm gonna do my pot in petal pink again. There we go. And I'm gonna make this like on some strings. So I'm gonna grab some pecan pie. And I'm gonna add like a plant holder. All right, and we have the little ring at the top here. There we go. Hopefully this comes out properly. There we go. And then we're just going to take this, do it up. So now we have a hanging plant that's going to go in there. And again, like on my sample that I showed earlier, which I'll show again at the end, you can always just choose to put a photo or something in here too. So I'm making a bunch of stamp pieces, but you could definitely do all sorts of stuff. All right, let's add some greens. Actually, I'm going to stop there. We're going to stop there. We're going to do something a little bit different. Let's grab some old olive. I think this is going to be like multiple plants in one pot. I don't know anything about plants. Let's see. I have this one right here. Let's do this one. We'll do that one. Let's do this kind of hanging out down the side. Playing with all sorts of stuff here. And I'm going to put that old olive away. Here's another one that can hang down this side. I feel like we need a little bit more in the center. I grab this. I'm going to grab the lemon lime twist and do a little bit in the center, and then we're going to call this plant done. I'm just going to build those up a little bit. Why not? Kind of like that. There. So there we go. We have a fun hanging plant. This is going to get adhered to the piece of cardstock that it matches. So this one is petal pink. And then I'm going to grab my tab punch, because this is a great use for the tab punch. And I'm going to grab, I didn't get out some cardstock. I'm going to grab some Granny Apple Green cardstock. There we go. And I have the awesome tab punch. This is part of a stamp set. You can either choose the punch or the dies. And I'm going to punch a couple tabs because we're going to need 2 of these. So Lynn, I am using the Planted Paradise stamp set. All right, so we're just going to fold this in half. Now you could stamp something on there too. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to adhere this to the center. Just going to add some green glue in here. Put a little bit on both sides. We'll just slide this in the center, the center-ish. Hopefully it lines up on the inside of my card. All right, so we just added a little tab. I think in my sample I actually put the tab in between the layers, but that's okay. We're doing different stuff. All right, so this is going to just slide into this front pocket. All right, so that gets tucked inside. And then we're going to make the piece that goes here. So the piece that goes here is going to be this one. I'll tell you what piece this is in just a second. So this is the piece of white that is 3 inches by 4.5 inches. All right, so this is 3 inches by 4.5 inches. As well as the Planted Paradise, I am using the Saying Hey stamp set. And so our front said hey, and I'm going to make this one say good looking. All right, so I think I'm going to do this in some pecan pie. A little pecan pie. We're going to put good looking on here. So it's like, hey, good looking. I don't like how that's stamped. Let's do it again. See if we can get a better stamp. Oh, that's a little bit better. All right. And now we're going to make another plant. We're going to do another plant. Let's do a Calypso coral pot on this one, shall we? Oh no, did I freeze for a second? Well, hopefully I'm unfrozen. I'm going to use this pot, which is Calypso coral. And I'm going to stamp. Use the back of my reversible stamp. And stamp in some, what am I using? I'm using lemon lime twist. That's what I'm using. All right, so we're going to stamp that in a little bit of lemon lime twist. Stamp off. I should have done that first. We're making this really full. There we go. And then I can wipe this off and we'll flip it over and I'll use some Granny Apple Green on the other side. So there we go. Flip this over. Add some Granny Apple Green. So there's that plant. Oh no, it froze. Hopefully this unfreezes. Oh, there we go. Sorry that it is freezing tonight. I don't know why it does that. We think perhaps that the squirrels have chewed through our cable again. The other thing could be too many people using our internet right now. All right. So there we go. We're going to add that right there. And then this goes in that first page. So here's our front. And then here's our first page. I'm going to set this right in here. So there we go. And then I'm going to flip this open. And over here, I'm going to add this long strip. Okay, so this strip is going to go right here. This is 1 3/4 by 4 inches. And I am just going to stamp a sentiment on here. So I'm going to use the sentiment that says, insert clever message here, because that's kind of how I feel. So we're going to do insert clever message here. I'm going to do this with pecan pie. And I think I'm not even going to stamp any plants on that at all. So we'll add this to this piece of petal pink. Now I do have another sample to show you. So I'm going to re-show you the sample I showed at the beginning. And then I have another sample to show you too. So there's our insert clever message here. All right. And I'm just going to put this right here. So it's just like that. And then I think, so this is not part of the instructions, but I think I just want to put a little happy birthday over here. This is going to be a birthday card. So I just grabbed a piece of spare and I'm just going to stamp happy birthday on here. Just like that. I have a little piece of granny apple green. Oh, that'll work. So this is 1 inch. And I am just going to trim this off, maybe at 2 inches. So we'll make our granny apple green 2 1/8 inches by 1 1/8 inch. We have that happy birthday, and I'm just going to put that right in there. You know what I want to do? Let's try to stamp directly on this. We could ruin the entire project. Are you ready to take a risk with me? Risk ruining the entire project by doing just a little bit of stamping on my base. Should have probably done this first, but whatever. We're going to live on the wild side. I'm going to put this happy birthday up here. And then I just want to stamp a little bit down here. So I'm going to grab my granny apple green. And I'm just going to grab some foliage and just stamp a little bit down here, just to kind of pull this together. All right. Look at that. Oh, should do a little bit more. Let's grab the lemon lime twist and add some spiky leaves. So there we go. We just added a little bit of decoration. Teresa, you have faith in me. I am so glad that you have faith in me. All right. We have one more section to do, which is this insert that goes in here. Okay. So this piece, this one is 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. All right. And I grabbed the Unbounded Love stamp set, because I kind of wanted something that was a little bit more like inside-y, more of an inside sentiment. So this one says, may all your wishes come true, which I thought would be a good birthday sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp that at the top. And I'm going to leave this blank. We're going to leave it for writing a message. Although maybe let's come in here and just do a couple leaves at the bottom, just to pull it together. This is where you could write something, write a sweet little message of your own. go. So we'll just add a little bit of greenery down there. And then this gets adhered to our piece of, to my piece of petal pink. And then I have that other tab. Actually, let's put this tab in underneath the white. So I'm going to go ahead and just fold this, put some adhesive on here. I'm going to put this at the top of my petal pink. Close that up. Make sure it's straight-ish. There we go. And then I'm going to put my white over top of it. So just like that. And then this slides in. So you can see the whole thing. We have that. We open it up. We have our pull out here. Flips over. It opens there. And then this one is going to slide right in the top here. And there you go. There is our little fun fold card. Isn't that fun? So fun, so easy. Told you, nothing to be scared of. Let me show you the other one. So here's the sample I showed at the very beginning again with the bright skies and the kindest expression stamp set. So it says, oh, happy day. And then you pull it out and I put a photo in there so you can see really easy. Just pop a photo in there and put that decorated there. So I added a sentiment there. I added a little tab down here. So you could definitely add a tab on here too. And then you make me feel like glitter in the sun. And then I pulled this one out and we just have a couple flowers and a spot to write a message. So really fun. And then I have a third sample that I have to unearth over here using the skates, the sophisticated sled. So this is the same stamp set that we are using for the Christmas in July mystery craft box. If you haven't registered already, today's the last day to register. So pop over to my website, get registered for the Christmas in July mystery craft box. But here you go. Here is it. Here it is with the skates. And I used the Winter Meadow, I think it is called. It was in last year's catalog. It actually carried over. You can't see it in the catalog, but it is still available. And that's what I used. I did the skates on the front. And then the Let's Decorate the Season with Happiness. This one pulls out and we have a sled and it says, Let It Snow. This would be so much fun to like give pictures after Christmas or something. And then this opens up and says, Good Tidings. And then, of course, the back one pulls out and says, Hope your days are filled with fun and laughter. So there you go. That is sample number 3. So three different cards. You can do whatever you want with this. It's just a fun, super fun fold technique. The folded book card with pockets, because I think everything's better with pockets. So there we go. Thank you all for joining me today. Oh, I'm so glad you guys like it. Hopefully you all go and make one yourself. I'm going to post a picture of my sample over in my Facebook group. If you make one of these cards, I would love for you to come and post a photo of it in the comments so we can all see it and see how adorable it is. And yeah, that's it for this evening. I am not going to be live on Thursday because it is a holiday here in the US, but I will be back next week, Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday, we are doing mystery stamping. So I hope to see you there for mystery stamping. Oh, I'm so glad you guys like it. Yay! I hope you all have a great week and a fabulous holiday. I'll see you next week.